Welcome to Colorflow Conversations, where we flow freely, speak boldly, and connect colorfully. I am you, Keisha, and this is
Takesha.
And welcome to our girl chat on this special holiday, Juneteenth, that a lot of people still don't acknowledge
Yeah,
or recognize.
yeah.
I was very, very happy to receive an email from my I was about to say the name of it. My banking, one of my banking institutions, that they were closed today. I'm not sure if all of them are closed, but they are recognizing the holiday. So that's good. And it's only been recognized for maybe like the last
I think it's
2
been under
years,
5 years. Yeah,
maybe maybe
Yeah.
3 years, maybe. So, how do you feel about that?
I don't.
You don't really care?
I care, but it's America.
Yeah.
That's the best I can say. I definitely care, but it's America, so I don't know what my expectations are. You know what I'm saying? Like I took today off as a floating holiday.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever the 4th of July runs around, I won't have to use a floating holiday for that. That will be an actual holiday.
Yeah. So
where we're closed.
Yeah.
I did see that they sent out an email at 9/11, ironically, about recognizing Juneteenth.
But they're not closed. But they're not closed.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But also the flip side of that, I will admit, like growing up, and again, it's America. I didn't know anything about Juneteenth. This was something that I found out about in my adult life.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much of our history that is removed and unacknowledged. So I guess we're starting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we're still really far behind as a whole.
We're way far behind. I mean, we're absolutely far behind. And I know you have friends, or friend. No, I'll say friends from other races, and I do as well. And have you ever had like the race conversation with any of your friends?
Yeah, one of my, I hate to be that cliche, like, but one of my closest friends, yeah, her and I have definitely had those conversations before, because even, and I believe I spoke about this on the podcast before, when I know that the driver turned down and canceled my son's ride based on his appearance, and it was because he's growing his natural hair, and our hair isn't slick, laid down to the side unless we make it like that purposely. And I remember talking to her specifically about that, and her just saying like how it breaks my heart that just because of the way that he looked,
that he was turned down from that ride. I have the conversation with well, I guess I'm like you, my closest friend, even though I am acquainted with a lot of
yes.
But even in my acquaintances, I do bring up race a lot, and because it's important to me to be authentically who I am. And I can remember cringing and being uncomfortable having the race conversations when I was around white people or whatever. And I don't do that anymore. I guess that was part of my people pleasing stage, that I didn't want. How am I not wanting them to feel uncomfortable when it was my ancestors that was the ones
uncomfortable?
That was,
Yes.
Yeah. So I talk about it. I bring it up. I celebrate it, and I don't care how uncomfortable they feel. I went to the store the other day. I was getting some home gardening stuff, and I had on my Black Lives Matter shirt, and it was in one of the most racist suburbs in Michigan. And as soon as I got out the car, I was met with a man who looked at me like, yeah, what? So I'm not ever going to back down from the conversation or who I am or who my ancestors are and what they done been through. So yeah, I celebrated. So I'm like you though. I didn't understand the meaning because it was never taught to us about Juneteenth. When we got the history lesson, it was always the 4th of July. So that was like the thing that we celebrated.
And
but
again,
now,
we talked about this before. In our culture, we celebrate anything.
yeah,
It's just the opportunity to get
To
together and party
yeah.
and eat. I want
Yeah.
our favorite things. So
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily about the holiday itself. It was just community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We always talk about the cookout. We always ready for a cookout.
Yeah.
We want to get together.
Yes.
So, yeah. But, it's a very, as time is going on, I'm teaching mine about the days that are not taught, so they can know the history, so they can understand that even if your job or whatever you do in life don't give you this day, you take this day and you recognize where you come from and the history behind it. So, yeah, one of my friends released a song, I think it was last night, called "I'm So Black," and she is one of like the people. She probably would have been in the Black Panther Party if it was going on right now, but she's a PK. And shout out to Leah. I can't think of her last name, Thompson, because she got married. I was about to say Plumber, but it's not. She released a single. So y'all download it on iTunes. It's called "I'm So Black," and she's also one of the people that I really, really admire because as a PK, she was probably one of the first people that started, deconstructing herself from the norms of what us PKs had to go through and things like that. And she left a very, very well-known church here because they're diverse, but because of the racism she felt. So yeah, her song was released. I think it was today or yesterday. It's called "I'm So Black." But when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, this is me. I can relate to it. So I ain't backing down from my blackness. Even though people be trying to humble us, they want us Black people to be humble. They want Black women to stay humble, stay in your place and all that. And I'm just glad now that more and more of us are stepping away from people trying to humble us. Humble, like we always talk, I say always, but maybe not always, talk about words that have a bad meaning. Humble is a word that had a good meaning, but when it comes to how you treat people and try to humble them, it can be negative. So, yeah, y'all ain't humbling me.
Because by definition, it's like think lower of oneself, and I'm never doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a whole goddess.
Listen, you're not humbling me. You're not humbling me. You're not gonna get me to shut up. You're not gonna get me to back down. You're not gonna get me to not talk about what is true in my life and my family's life or my ancestors, my history, to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Don't be mad because your people made my people slaves. Don't be mad about it. It is what it is. So yeah, I'm glad that we're able to sit here on this day, Juneteenth, in our
attire.
I know. There ain't never planned. Never planned. So yeah. I love that. So girl, what else you got?
I don't have nothing.
I think that I was thinking earlier this week, I was like, dang, me and Takesha have literally been doing this podcast for over a year now. And I believe that we've talked about like everything under the sun. So many different things that I didn't even know we could have that many conversations about just positive conversations about life lessons and what we're learning and our growth and spiritual growth and growth in life and children and dating and marriage and divorce. And I was really extremely thankful for that because I don't enjoy meaningless conversations.
I do not either. I really struggle with it. And I do realize one thing about me, if I am notorious, if I don't have anything to say, I'm not saying anything at all.
Do your people recognize it?
I don't know if they recognize it or not, but I get silent. And it's no pun towards them. It's just I don't have nothing to say. So,
and it's not you thinking negative about them. It's just
yeah. And I think before I used to try to make conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I thought of something like, oh, let me just share this to have a conversation to keep it flowing. Where in this setting, it just flows freely. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. Like, if it doesn't come natural to me, I'm not sitting there picking my brain like, oh, well, let me bring this up and talk about this. Or, how even if the intention is not to gossip about somebody, if we know somebody that's in common, for me just to bring them up, like, I don't even ask how so-and-so doing unless it's literally placed on my mind. And if it's somebody in my life, I'm 10 out of 10, I'm going to reach out to them like, oh, you crossed my mind. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the third party. So-and-so asked me about you. Okay, what you tell them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I am most definitely, a lot of times I'm just quiet and I'm okay with that. I've always been kind of a quiet person, but I will say that before in previous years, I did used to use my brain to try and come up with things or topics and stuff just
Is this when we would have like dead air?
Yeah.
Was that uncomfortable for you to have dead air?
I don't know. Maybe it was, and maybe I didn't realize it was uncomfortable, or maybe I was just trying. You know what I'm saying? Trying too hard to have a conversation, or trying too hard to be engaged, trying too hard to be liked, because I've been wanting community my whole life. So my approach might have been different, where now it's just like, I still want community, but I definitely want alignment. So I'm not like, okay, I know this person like this, so I'm going to bring up topics about this. Or I'm going to send this to so-and-so because I know they're into it, and then we can chit chat about it. I don't want to talk.
Do you know what I recognize about myself now? Similar to you, but I also don't like to be the loudest in the room. We may have talked about this before, but I'll get quiet now and just observe a room and or a space that I'm in. And I realized that previously, like coming up, that I always tried to, just like I said, I used to like to try to make people comfortable, didn't want them to be uncomfortable. I used to try to be the likable, everybody like me, and I probably would be the most talkative or the loudest. And I definitely have moved away from that because I just don't. It wasn't me. It wasn't authentic, and I think it's cool to be like some people just naturally loud, and that's okay. But if you're naturally loud because you're seeking acceptance or something from people, because sometimes you get people who are the life of the party that's just authentically, you can tell that's just who they are. But sometimes you're seeking acceptance, and that was where I'm not trying to be anymore. I'm not seeking acceptance from anybody, so I can be the quietest in the room, and my attendance can be there, and I could just be there, but I'm not seeking to be have approval or acceptance from people anymore. And that's why I say the meaningless conversations bother me. And when I say meaningless, and it's not to discredit other people or what they enjoy talking about, but if we don't have like a conversation in common, the conversation is, I really don't. I don't, and I hate to have people think that it's that I don't want to talk to them, because that's not where I'm coming from a place. But I don't really care about a lot of the stuff I used to care about.
I think that's my thing too. Is so many things that I don't care about, and when I do, my caring is so minimal that it's like, oh, okay, like that was a 2-second conversation, because that was that. Like, it's not gonna flow into anything longer or venture into some, for the back and forth. It's just like, oh, okay, for real, yeah, I seen that. Okay, what else you got?
You know what's funny about that is now when I'm having those type of conversations, I can feel it. Like, I'm not even enjoying this conversation. Like, I can feel it. Like,
and I think also, and I don't know if you experience this too, but I believe that, and I've said this before, everybody has, a sense of discernment and their intuition, but it's the people who I think constantly try to work on clarifying their gifts, their senses, and some are
Mm-hmm.
stronger than others in different areas. And I think since my main thing for like the last 4 years or so has been really tuning into it even more and understanding it, because it's always been there, that now I pick up on just knowing something, just not even knowing why I know that. So I really be like, yeah, I don't even want to go where this is going,
Mm-hmm.
because I can just sense it. Like some of the energy is just so heavy, and not necessarily in a negative way, like it's bad, gossiping, but it just may not be where I want to go. Like
Mm-hmm.
I want conversations that are going to uplift me and leave me thinking, wanting more. Like I want to leave you and want to feel like I want to go to the library and check out a book on what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Now, I do enjoy, you know what I'm saying, just regular day-to-day stuff. I ain't always gotta leave wanting to go to the library, but for the most part, I ain't gonna lie. 80% of me want to leave going to the library.
You still read a lot every day?
Every day. I only don't, well, every day. Sometimes it's hard and I may read just a couple of pages or something, but I read every day.
Do you journal every day?
No.
But you do read every day.
I journal with intention now. Like before, I journal every day, even it was just writing about my day or what my feelings. But now, when I pick up my journal, it's really with intention. And when I say intention, it's like I want to capture this moment, or something happened that I was enlightened about, or I had a dream and I'm writing it down. I'm just not like, oh, okay, well, this question came up. Let me write about it and see how I feel and work through this. No, I don't do that no more.
You were doing that before though.
Yeah.
And now it's okay. But even outside of journaling, you were writing. You don't write every day anymore?
No, I don't write every day anymore. I wrote yesterday for the first time on my blog since I believe it was like April. Yeah, but
Okay.
and when I say, I guess to a certain extent, maybe I do write every day, because I do make a post about something every day.
Okay.
But it's not as in detail as when I think about writing, because my writing can be hours long, but I am writing about something just for me to engage and reflect, or it might hit somebody else that reads it. Who knows? But I guess to a certain degree, yeah, I do write every day.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of switching the subject, but it's also talking about things we've talked about in the past. Yesterday, I saw something, and I don't know if you saw it. A young lady, I saw a video of a young lady who she was like, who I was in my teens and 20s. I'm definitely not that now. And I think mentioned she's only in her 30s. And she said when she was in her teens and 20s, she went hard in the paint with tattoos. And she said that now she wants to be more feminine and soft. And she feel like when she see people and she's like, wow, they look so nice, and going to events, and she feel like she don't appear to be that way because she got so many tattoos. And it made me think about you, because I know you and your feminine, and your tattoos don't take away from that. But if and she has two sleeves. So she was saying that when she goes to like brunch or different places, and she see young ladies that their skin is just kind of moisturized and just kind of glowing, and she don't feel like as feminine because she did these when she was younger, and she's like, and don't get her wrong, she's like, don't get me wrong, I love them, and I'm not getting them removed, but a small part of her regrets um, doing so much to her body, and now she wish it didn't take away she feel like it takes away the soft feminine side of her. What would you say to that?
I would ask her really to deep down more so in her soul, because I feel like the tattoos are definitely representative of where you were at that time, And like the older I get, when I got my sleeve, I was very intentional with everything that I got on my sleeve versus before I have cherries on my chest. But I do not believe that the tattoos, even though they're embedded in my skin and are not going anywhere, the jewelry that I wear, the clothes, and I don't know if I've ever said this on camera before, but when I wrap my hair, I feel the prettiest. But even when it's not wrapped, I still feel as pretty. So I understand, where she's going with that, but I definitely believe that it's just some more work of learning to just look in the mirror and accepting it, because it can just be as simple as looking at the tattoos. And I say this loosely, I'm sure you'll understand it when I say it, like a flaw. Like the person who wants the flat stomach but got a little pudgy stomach. It's no different than that. But when you just love yourself immensely, the tattoos and none of that even really matters. Like it took me a long time to get to this point. So her saying that is very relatable. I have these cherries on my chest that say juicy. Okay. Yeah. I'm past triple D size. So they're juicy, but every time I wear something low cut now, I feel an insecurity about it. But it does not take away from my femininity. So there's a difference where it's just like, that old me creeps up, where it's just like, when I got that, I think I was like 18, 19. And back then, it's plenty of us in my age group that has this exact same standard tattoo.
Yes, it is.
And the only reason why, because I've even talked to my tattoo artist about getting it covered up, but the only reason why is because it was so painful. That's the only reason I haven't gotten it covered. But every summer I think about it because it's an insecurity. It's like the person wanting to get a nose job, but it doesn't take away from them still being that woman and being feminine and knowing that it's that girl. It just triggers the insecurity. Yeah. So I would just ask her to look at it from that perspective and not as a perspective that it's a less than.
Yeah, she said and social media, since social media is out and we're able to see what other people think and feel, and they get right on and they say, she was like, I feel like I'm not really in my soft feminine area because she has 2 sleeves. And she was like, I just wanted to, be, and she was like, and like she said, don't get it wrong. She
loves them. Yeah, I get it.
She loves them, but sometimes she just wish that she could just see, she don't know what her skin look like,
and I think about that, especially, I think it comes for, with the tattoo people who are in that, because it feels like sometimes from outwardness, like you're not as dainty.
Yeah, that part. I think that's,
you know what I'm saying? Yes, so I think about, because we talk about this all the time, like my wedding day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never visioned that I would have a whole sleeve of tattoos being ironed out, and I'm a short sleeve girl. So
your wedding dress is gonna be a short
you gonna
sleeve.
see it.
Yeah.
If anything, it might be some sheer or some lace. You know what I'm saying? But I anticipate I'm short sleeve. You're going to see that. So I think about those things. But again, it don't take nothing away from me. And I got a skull with a crown, and it's one of my most favorite tattoos.
I didn't ever recognize it was a skull.
Yes.
Probably because your sleeves are always
yes, but it's a skull. And she girly. She got a whole crown. Like I have a whole skeleton body. Like this tattoo right here is a woman with flowers, and she has her arm wrapped around herself with a ladybug. But most of the tattoos on here are very masculine. I got a black spider. I have a skeleton with the ribs with the knife going through it. So I can completely understand. But if I'm still out with the girls who don't have no tattoos, or the tattoos that aren't visible, I feel just as
feminine. So when you say you gave a lot of thought to what you would put on you with the sleeve, you didn't really give a lot of thought to the other
No,
Well,
I didn't. I wanted a tattoo. I think it was a phase, and I mentioned to you earlier about how important choices are. Choices change the trajectory of your life. And I don't think coming up, we realize how a minimal choice changes anything. So if I'm being honest, it was just like, oh, I want a tattoo. I knew I wanted it. And I knew tattoos were forever realistically, but at 18, I don't know if my mind was developed enough to know at 50, do you want the cherry dripping saying juicy? Do you really still want that in your later years in life? Or is this just something that you might have needed to get one that wasn't permanent? You know what I'm saying? Because then I thought it was cute. And I had my boobs out all the time. And now, honestly, I ain't gonna even lie, because even as a cover girl stepping into her modesty, I still like to wear like the tank dresses where it has that showing my boob, but because that tattoo triggers the insecurity, 9 times out of 10, you catch me with that blue jean jacket on. It's not for no other reason. It's because
is that why you wear that jean
want
jacket?
to cover that tattoo because it triggers me. So again, I can relate to that, but I still feel super girly and feminine.
I never knew that you were wanted to cover.
Yeah, because it's just to me, but I got that one and another one at the same time. I got a bulldog that says dogging you. I never want to get that covered. When I built my sleeve, she built a sleeve around that. It's just this one. So, but yeah, I got that one because I was like, oh yeah, that's what's up. I'm dogging these. Yes. That's why I got it.
I don't think that I think it's only maybe one that I know the meaning. Well, I know the meaning of more of it, but like before you got the sleeve, it was one I knew the meaning of. But that's why you got the dogging?
Yes, because I'm dogging. Yes.
And that's what you've done for years.
For years. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it now. I get it.
So it's just, but this is the one that was the one that I was like, oh, that's cute. I'm gonna get that. But I won't even say almost every single one. The other ones I have meaning towards them, and like I said, I was intentional. Like I have bumblebees because when I think of bees, I think of they're out here, they're producing, they busy. And they have community. So that's when I thought of that, so the honeycombs, like honey. Okay. Everything was intentional.
Wow. Yeah.
So from that aspect, I don't feel like it takes away, but I definitely can relate. But I would just tell her, like, that's just an insecurity. Is you still feminine. Stand in it, own it, and do more things that make you feel that way.
Yeah.
So even if it's something as they have these, put on something that might be a little sheer. We got these little sheer shirts where it's not necessarily covering it, but it'll pull away the focus from that.
Yeah.
Tap into, this is the thing I feel as women that we need to do, because we all have some type of insecurity that we struggle with. But whatever you feel like makes you look better, tap into that. I've always loved my eyes. So that's why getting the lashes to me was a moment, because I've always loved my eyes. And I even remember my baby daddy used to come at me like with some big old eyes, and he would call me headlights. I didn't care.
Did he?
Call me what you want. Yeah, he called me headlights. I'm telling you, these fools used to try to humble me.
Yes, humble. People tried to humble me. Yeah. I can't believe he used to say that to you.
Yeah, headlights.
And then they would.
But you date me. We got a whole baby.
The people that you think supposed to love you or like you would be your.
They the main ones.
Yeah, I can't believe he said that to you.
Yeah, they are the main ones that try to humble you. But yeah, so even when I would like to get a full arm on this one, but I thought maybe I might be doing too much. But what I have is big enough. And it's my reminder, like, girl, you enough, even though you got them juicy cherries looking stupid. It's okay.
It don't look stupid. I see now why you always wore the jean jacket, though, because I never knew that triggered insecurity, or that's the one that you thought maybe I shouldn't have gotten this one. But do you know how many hundreds of millions of other women got that right there?
Yeah, and I don't want to be in that clan no more. Did I say clan?
You did say clan.
Clan on Juneteenth. How about that?
Yeah, you did say.
I don't want to be in that group.
And I wonder how many women got tattoos now that are older and in their more feminine era that they, think like now, like, oh, I probably shouldn't have, because I only got one right now, and I plan to get one or two more.
I had 10 before I got the sleeve.
Did you?
I got some 10 tattoos, y'all.
I didn't know it was 10. Yeah. Does your sister have tattoos?
I think she got her first one last year.
Oh, really?
And it's just real small on her hand, I believe. I can't tell you what it says, but it's a word. I think it says breathe. But that was just like her very first tattoo. And a small dainty, like you wouldn't even notice it.
Really?
It's perfect for her. And I love those small dainty tattoos, but I am definitely a yin and yang in itself, because I have that, I believe, I have that balance now. I didn't always, but I definitely believe that I have the perfect balance between the masculine and feminine energy. And this tattoo, they definitely represent that masculine side of me. And on this side, it's definitely the feminine side. I mean, when I went and got my nails done, she was just like, "You're such a princess." And I showed her my tattoo. I was just like, "I am. You see, I got it tattooed on me. It says princess." So you're exactly right. I am such a princess. So keep scrubbing.
The balance of the masculine and feminine, though, that part. You think it's the wrong word. Because a lot of us have masculine in us that we shouldn't have. Like, should we have masculine in us or should we always have been feminine? Is that something that was created because it had to be there?
I believe, and go with me on this, when you are birthed, originally there's no gender that develops. So in my mind, you have to have the masculine and feminine. And I just believe as life goes on, you develop the characteristics. Some are stronger than other, but I believe wholeheartedly that every individual, regardless if you are a man or a woman, has that energy, and you just may be tapping into more than the other, or you may be completely balanced on where you should be as a man or a woman. Because when we talk about masculine energy, a masculine person, like, I don't know what you think of instantly. Can you think of something off the top of your head
when I think of masculine?
Yeah.
No.
So masculine energy, and I'm going to use you as an example, is protector. Okay. You think as the mom, but that's a masculine energy. The mom is the nurturer. That still has some protecting behind it, but the nurturer is the softer side of it.
Yeah.
But we have both. And there's nothing wrong with that.
You know you're going to cause some controversy with saying you believe what we born we don't have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will, and I'm here for it. But even like, because I'm a nature girly, so even think about the water, how it flows. Water is feminine, but the barriers around it is the masculine energy, because it's holding it up, making sure she's flowing where she needs to go. It's the support.
Yeah, that's good.
So I definitely believe that, having the balance, because, and I just think it's unhealed and healed versions, because you still want your man to nurture you, but you want him to protect you, but you don't want him to always be in that softness that brings the nurturing, if that makes sense. Because if he too much in it, then it's just like, you a whole wuss. Now I got to activate the tattoo and bring it out.
But if he's too much on the other side,
Exactly. It becomes controlling.
Yeah, it becomes controlling. Yeah.
So that's why I say he also needs to have the balance.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't have balance on both ends.
No.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and
true.
I don't even think we realize it, because us as mothers, and I would say this because I was a single mom. I talk about that on here all the time, and as a young mom. So I raised my son, do not cry. I was heavy on that. Don't cry. Like, is you a punk? Don't cry. You don't show emotions. Like, I was that mom. So I had him way too far on that side, when it's okay as a boy. It is okay for you to cry. It is okay for you to have
When did you start
emotions.
switching over to realize it was okay for him to have emotions? Do you remember at what point?
You're assuming that I did that.
Oh.
Let's be clear.
Wait, I'm saying you did switch over though to think that it's okay for him to have emotions and cry though, right?
Oh, yes. I thought you meant like, did I share that with him?
You never told him?
No.
Oh, you switched, but you didn't tell him.
No. Like,
really?
I believe that I think I softened up when my mother passed away. When it was just like, it is okay for you to acknowledge your emotions. And like now at this moment, it's an aha, thank you, Jesus, Holy Spirit moment, because I believe that that's probably why he struggled so much with his grief, because he didn't know how to handle it, because his mother has raised him to be emotionless.
So
I had to hug that baby later.
Yeah, because my son, girl, he cried. I think because I wasn't a single mother to start, it was two of us in the household. And he was told from the man, don't be crying, stop that crying, all that. And I wasn't like that. I was always okay with him crying. And
so he had that balance of the energy when it was, whereas I couldn't give that balance, because in my mind, I was teaching him that what I thought a man was going to be, but I was too young to even really know.
Yeah. And like I said, last week, we went to a funeral service, which, I talk about, a lot of people cry at funerals. I don't, but my son was sitting next to me and he didn't know the person that well at all, but he was like, oh, why do I always cry? Why is it always me crying? And I was like, it's okay. Go ahead and cry. And then he just let it out. And I was just like, you feel better, but I'm glad that I was always like, it's okay to cry. You don't think that you should tell him now, it's okay if you want to cry?
No, I'm not doing that.
You're not going to go back and do that?
One thing about me, listen, I ain't perfect, but I ain't going back on what I said.
Even if your mind changed and you know your mind changed about it.
Listen, my instruction to him now, it is okay to talk about it and we can work through it. That is what I tell him all the time. It's okay for you to talk about it.
That poor baby probably holding in his cries.
I still hold in my cries though, around him.
Oh, around him.
Oh yeah, you cry all the time.
I'm about to say you cry. You holding your cries around him?
Holding my
cries
around him.
He don't see how much of a cry. He don't know how much a crybaby you are?
No, I hold that in. And if I'm at home and I want to cry, I'm closing the door. I'm probably turning the music up. Do you think that shows a sign of weakness and then, for you or something? Yes, because that's how I was raised. So look, we watched the movie, and I think this was the first time, because I couldn't control it. And he was like, "Is you cry?" And I'm thinking, you don't even know your mama cry all the time. That's all I do. Like, yes, I'm crying. I'm trying to get it together.
And he was just looking like, what are you crying for?
Yeah. I come on here all the time and I be transparent. It'd be stuff that I be working on. So this is probably something that I'm going to self-reflect on. I need a book.
You know what? Have you thought about that before? Like, if you should tell him it's okay to cry, even though you say I'm not going to go back on it.
No, because I I couldn't even imagine me saying that, not to sound like a weirdo, but I couldn't imagine me saying that because I think I just would say like it's okay for you to be in tune with your emotions.
You know,
I don't think I'm gonna say it's okay to cry because I still don't want him crying. And that's just my truth. Like I
really,
wish I would see my daddy cry. I've seen him soft, I've seen his tears water in his eyes, but I don't know. Like that part of me is way too
you've never
hurt.
seen your father cry?
Like a tear drop down? Never.
You said a tear drop down. A tear dropping down is crying,
Yeah,
friend.
I ain't never seen that. I done seen some watery eyes, but and we done been to funerals. I didn't watch him with my mama. No. So
I think that I've seen my father cry maybe twice, and it wasn't like a boohoo
boo
cry.
hoo, yeah.
Yeah, I twice.
But I don't recall my mother crying.
I don't recall my mother
See, so
crying
that's
either.
what I'm saying.
You
That's
know, I saw something this morning. It was just this morning. It's so,
wild.
it's wild that we're talking about this. It was a lady talking about how she always cried. It made me think about you actually, because you cry a lot, but you're telling me you don't cry around your son, which is crazy to me because you always cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you always cry, but do you know that she said that um, she just cries freely, like, you know, if her kids say something or do something and it's not anything sad or hurtful, it's just she'll cry. She's happy, sad, mad, whatever. So she's always crying. But she said she did some research, read some books like you,
See?
and crying releases is it cortisol? Um, cortisol levels. Like if you have high cortisol levels, it may make you be highly stressed or different things like that. So crying helps relieve stress, helps do all these things to relieve like a lot of physical and medical things in you that I didn't know about until I started listening to her talk about it. So tell that man he can cry.
Nope. But yeah, girl, I cry. I will close the door. I will go outside. Like if I'm
Really?
having a really rough day, I'm infamous because most of the time I have my conversations. I do everything outside, but I'll be
Yeah.
like, I'm about to go outside and just cry and do whatever. But yeah, I have my tears.
I never knew that you hid your tears from him as much as I know you cry.
Yeah, so that's a lot of hiding.
That's, you know how he'd be like, you don't know the people you live with?
Yeah, that literally is true. I'm the perfect example of that.
That is a perfect example, because how is that possible that man don't know that his mom is a crybaby?
Yeah, because he'll probably be like, I know you ain't talking about my mama defending me 10 toes down. Not at me being, son, I cried, just be hiding it from you.
And you had it all based on you
crying is weak. I mean, I know it's not, but
because you're a crybaby, so you know it's not.
But I still have this symbolism of it being weak that I haven't worked through quite yet. So that's just where I'm at.
And I don't cry, and I know it ain't weak. I don't even know when the last time I cried.
I don't even know how. I don't want to be like how not to cry because that may sound crazy, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm like her, like every emotion, like the happy tears, I don't hide, but I don't have very many happy tears. Most of my tears are around some type of sad, grief, emotion. You know what I'm saying? So, or just I'm easily triggered with movies too. So
yeah, that's why. And I never cry at movies. People who be like, "Oh, I cried on that." It be so many people who say I cried. I be in movies like this.
yeah,
I do not cry.
And it be movies that just like nobody else even cried. Like, what are you crying for? I'm watching Disney cartoons and I'm crying. But I think my whole point of me just saying that was that it just comes so natural that I don't even know how not to cry. So I always keep tissue with me.
He don't even know you.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But how many of us grew up knowing our parents? He knows that version of him that I guess that I want him to be. That's wow. he knows the version of him that I want him to be. The version who always seems to have her stuff together, who always takes care of everything, who's the fixer, the problem solver. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I just said the same thing, just in different ways all over again.
No,
But
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. That made me wonder if my kids really know me. Well, I think they know us as the parent, like you said, the person who are the fixer, who know how to get things done, the control person. Um, because I can't say that my kids would have seen me cry much. There are specific things that they will bring up, times where they've seen me cry, and we'll sit and laugh about it. Like, you remember when you know, but like on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, holiday, birthday, where they probably haven't seen me cry. They see me in mommy mode 95% of the time.
Yeah, I know that's how Jordan sees me, and that's how my representative. That's how she shows
Yeah,
up. But
yeah.
I don't think that I ever saw my mother, like, I didn't get a chance to see the other, she's just a girl side. My sister was able to get that from her, and they live together, so that's kind of expected. But even when my mom lived with me, because she lived with me for a short period of time, but she was still working then, and we just, I think, was just living life. We didn't really have a lot of those deep conversations. Like, now looking back, I wish I would have had more chances to learn my mom as a person, but I was too busy using her as my friend. Like, what do I do about this? I got this going on. Like, she was my problem solver.
Yeah, yeah. For Father's Day, my sister picked out a journal for my father, and my father, of course, don't journal, but it is really a journal of questions.
I've seen one of those
Yeah.
on my favorite little store that was just like, yeah, go ahead.
And we went over there last week because it's Father's Day, and we sat around. So it's questions for us to ask him about his life. So it has in there like childhood, teenage years, young adult, all this. So I started to ask some questions, just simple questions out of the book that we had never. I realized what we saying now, we don't know them as
outside of who they are to us, so to speak.
Yeah, I was asking him basic questions like, "Who taught you how to drive?" or "Who taught you this?" And his answers was just shocking to us because we were like, "What?" I didn't know. One of the questions was, like I said, was, "Who taught you how to drive?" He said, "I taught myself." I said, "You taught yourself?" He was like, "Yeah, it was just feel. So all you had to do is get in the car and drive." And so another question was, "How old were you got your license?" He said 21. I didn't know that. I was like, 21? So, I'm glad that she got this journal for us to, ask as many things as we could and find out about him outside of just being our father who we saw get up,
and
go to
take
work,
care and make sure the house ran like it needed to run.
I mean, the man still, he takes care of business. He ain't nothing ever got caught off. He paid the bills. He, make sure we have what we need, So asking him those questions in that journal, I mean, we didn't get through a lot because we was laughing like a lot with him. I literally asked him, "Were you born in a hospital or at home?" He was like, "I don't know. I wasn't there, girl." We was like,
that is hilarious. That is hilarious. That made me think about my aunt. I don't know that answer to either one of my parents, but I do know that my aunt was born like with a midwife, because she doesn't know her exact birthday because she has 2 different birth certificates.
See,
ain't that wild?
Yeah.
Speaking of Juneteenth,
that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's the history of our people, our ancestors. I wish that a lot of these questions I would have asked my mother before. I think that we did talk conversations with her a little more about when she was younger, but not like in detail. We only know them as our parents. So, I personally think it's kind of important for them to know us other than just the parent. What you think?
I agree. My son has, as you know, he's always been open about the things that he says to me. I'm not gonna say this on camera, but I will tell you when we are off. But he asked me if I had ever done something, and I was floored when he asked me this. And I was just like, mm-mm.
It's something you've done before, though?
Yeah. We all done did it. All us women.
Oh, why do I think I know what you're saying? Oh my God. He asked you that?
Yes.
And you was like, no.
I was just like, boy,
that's nasty.
Yeah. But we definitely need to
let them know us outside
of the parenting.
It's part
and
of
I
the
wish
history.
some of them would be a little bit more open too, because some children look at their parent as just a parent and not a human being. Like it's like the robotic parent, do what I need you to do. I need money.
Yeah.
You're mean, you're evil, you hate me.
That part, yeah.
When it's like I'm trying to teach you lessons based on lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
If you let me tell you, if you be open to it, you might could learn a thing or two.
Yeah, that part. I think that
because history truly does repeat itself, and there's some history that they don't realize we're really that's why we talk about breaking curses. It's some things in history we don't want our children or our children's children to experience ever again.
I don't want my children to. I'm huge on that, as you know, us trying to break curses, and I mean we both are.
Yeah, I'm glad that, not to cut you off, but I'm glad that my son is 30 and not a parent yet.
Yeah, that part. I mean,
because mentally you gotta be prepared to raise a child.
Yeah, and he could have very well been a parent by now.
Yes.
Yeah. History does repeat itself, because I see like situations with my kids, specifically my daughter, because she's a girl, and the things that she go through, or situations that happen. I'll be thinking like, dang, I remember when that happened to me, or when I was going through that. And you can try and help and talk about stuff, but a lot of times you really just gotta let them have the experience.
Yeah,
you can't just try to
control
and police everything. Yeah.
Yep.
And I as hard as it is for me to try to respect that boundary, I've been working on that, because I'm like, I'm trying to protect, and I'm mama bear. I'm ready to fight any and whoever. I don't play when it comes to mine. That'd probably be the only reason I ever go back to jail, because of my kids. As much as I say I didn't like jail.
I'll tell you something about being a mama bear.
It's something about being a mother that just be like, you know what, I definitely will.
We go hard in the paint for our children.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everything I done, like she about to be a senior, and I'm thinking, oh child, your life is really gonna be changed when she skedaddled to school, and as much as I enjoy my life, because I do.
I want to get to that point when I enjoy my life.
You don't think you enjoy it?
Did you just say I don't think? I mean, you don't think you enjoy it? No, I don't. I think I live a stagnant, robotic life. It is Thursday. You will do the podcast.
That sounds like a rap.
On Friday,
I'm gonna go
to work. You will get off work and you will watch Sinners for the 100th time. You will then read a book. You'll think about reading your Bible, and then you'll get mad because your life is robotic. So then you will talk to God and be depressed and go to sleep. And Saturday morning, you will go to the river and ask for forgiveness. Repeat.
Oh God, are you serious?
I'm serious. And I said today, in my talk with God, because I had it earlier, I was just like, I am grateful because I know that my life could be worse, but I am not happy. And what do I need to do to get the desires of my heart? What do I need to do to bring Matthew 7 into fruition? Because if I'm asking, if I'm seeking, if I'm knocking, what do I need to do? And I think a lot of times we are humbled to just be grateful for what we have and where we are. But I feel like I'm no longer in alignment with this version of me. And that's just my truth. Like where I was years ago, she was okay with that routine, mundane life. And that was what I wanted. But now I'm not okay with that. Do I want to lose my job and then be out here struggling, wonder what I'm going to eat and how this mortgage going to get paid? Absolutely not. But is this the job that I see myself going to for however many more years until I'm just in a position where I can't work anymore? No, I am definitely feeling stagnant and just going through the motions, and I'm not happy. I'm not.
Do you think that because like I know you say you talked to God about it, like the routine is basically the job, and you don't want to be in the job because the other stuff that you do, you okay with incorporating that in the routine. It's the 9 to 5 that
it's the 9 to 5, and honestly, my location, I'm ready to change locations, not necessarily move out of state. I love my house and it has served its purpose, but I don't want to live there no more. I just really feel like it's a movie called Happy Death Day. I can't remember the plot of it, which is wild that I want to use this as an example, but right. I feel like I think the moral was like the same day. I feel like I live the same days over and over and over with a little bit of sprinkle of the changes. And I just don't want that for me. I want a life where every day is a new possibility. Mm-hmm. I don't have that. I'm engaging with the same people. That don't even switch up. And now we coming on the close, but now like one of my coworkers be reaching out to me, chatting to me every day, and I be like, I ain't even signed up for this. I didn't. Like, so you gonna be gone for the next 2 days? What you got planned? Boy, nothing.
He think he your friend.
Yes. And then I'm replying, so now I know about his kids and everything. So I'm like, now we friends. So when I was just like, God, I wanted some things to change, he said, oh, okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get you a friend at work.
And that's exactly how it happens. Yes.
So now I got a work friend.
That's exactly how it happens. That's exactly it.
And I'm going to work tomorrow and he ain't gonna even be there. So now I'm gonna be able to work, I guess, with no distractions. Because my work friend ain't gonna be there until Monday. My work husband.
That is funny that you got a work husband now.
Yes.
That is hilarious to me. And it's funny because the way it happened was just like so random. And this and that's literally Takesha how God worked. You asked him for something different. He like, okay,
sprinkle.
Yeah, take that. Take that. Let's see if you can practice on this work husband, see if you're ready for a real one.
But this work husband, I don't know. Getting on my nerves. Like, how's your day going? Boy, I'm still here. You know how it's going. You know I want to be at home.
Do you tell him that?
No. Sometimes I do say some slick stuff because I can't remember what I said the other day. And he was just like, you really are funny. And I was thinking to myself, I'm serious. I am not trying to make no jokes.
Y'all work remote. So what are y'all doing? Chatting on the
Yes, we chatting on the little instant
message. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yes, I'm like, and then now you can send them gifts, just whatever they cost, or we be sending them. But I'm like, I am not trying to be funny. I am dead ass.
He's giving you something, especially with the job, because you like, I don't work routine. Your routine is breaking.
Yeah, my routine is breaking, and I prayed for the switch with ease and joy because just remember when I wasn't working last year, and I was much happier.
Yeah.
But I want to be much happier with money and luxury. So I make sure I add in ease and joy. Like I want it to be easy, but I would be lying to you, friend, if I sat here and just told you that I was happy. I'm content. So I don't know who it was. Who in the Bible talk about be content no matter the circumstances? That's what I'm living right now. And I'm struggling with being content because most days I guess really I ain't content because I'm complaining about it.
Takesha. And I don't think a lot of people, and if y'all feel different, you can say that a lot of people ain't happy.
Yeah, because people be acting like they happy and don't be wanting to admit. I just don't have no problem standing in my truth.
A lot of people are not happy. They'll portray that they're happy. You can portray it, but a lot of people ain't happy. You can fake it good because we good at that.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yes.
a lot of people got the same routine, daily, weekly, and not happy. They want something different. That's why a lot of people cheat.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because it's the mundane, stagnant routine. And it's like they want something spicy.
Yeah, it spices it up. But, you cheat, and then it's exciting when you cheat and you having fun. And then when you get in a relationship with where you cheated with, it ain't as fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like all the excitement is gone. A lot of people are not happy.
You're right.
But that's why they cheat in relationships. That's why they, cheat on the job or whatever in life. Because it brings some type of excitement. So you're going about it the right way. You ain't.
Yeah, and I'm like really honest with myself, and I'm pinpointing the things that I know that are not making me happy. And this is my thing. Yeah. I'm not like about to switch a job to go to another job because I don't want no job. So why recycle them? You know what I'm saying? Like being for real.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna pick one, it's gonna be this one where I can have my afternoons free.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a little more freedom than what you would have with another one.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. You can say, hey, I want to go in early or late this day or whatever. You just hate that you have to be there within the time. But if you need to be off early,
yeah. So it's just like I want that, and I want some new characters in my storyline.
Well, you're getting a new character with your work husband.
Like, okay, let's come on a close.
I'm excited because I don't never remember you having a work husband.
I had one time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had one many, many moons ago.
Yeah, one time.
He was Asian.
He was of Caucasian descent, but I don't think he might have been Arabic or something.
Look, one day we're gonna talk about how these other cultural men don't be trying to humble us. They love us.
They do.
They do. Mine was Asian, but hey, what y'all think? Tell us. We thank y'all for watching. We want y'all to like, listen, subscribe, share. Tell us what you think.
We talked about a lot of different things.
We did. We always do. That's why I said I was thinking about how our conversations have flown. And we talked about stuff we never talked about.
And that be the thing. I think that's what I enjoy the most. Okay.
So we will see y'all next week.